Wow, okay, so we are back for our, I believe this is going to be our 10th episode, and it's kind of amazing because I had some difficulty getting here, what with the new update and such. It took me a little while, but I managed to get my hands on version 1.6 of the game. Yeah, version 1.56 of the game, thanks to the obviously fake accent or some such. That's actually, I don't think his full name, the full word accent is in there, but because of him, we are now back in business because he enabled me to do this. So thank you for that. So yeah, we're picking up where we left off, where I had just survived over 10 hours of sleeping. Look at my warmth draining so fast. Oh my goodness. I think I'm just going to go back and warm up again real quick. I have a stew. So, it's kind of interesting. Lately, I haven't been churning out as many episodes because I've had, I live in a condo complex, and I've had work being done on my roof. I had no real say in the matter. Frankly, I don't think it's a bad thing that it's being done, but it really did restrict, my, that's right, I got rid of it. It's alright. Oh, jeez, this one. It really did restrict my time. On top of the fact that I'm already busy, the fact is, like, I've been doing stuff at volunteer work. I've been doing, I don't know, just a lot of schoolwork has kicked up. It hasn't been easy for me to make time to make more episodes, but the fact that the work on the roof was done just did not open up more opportunity. It really restricted it even more. So, I'm finally back in the game here, even after the whole update and everything. So I'm really happy about that. And right now, they've moved. I think there's still more work that's got to be done, but they've moved beyond my portion of the roof. So we shouldn't be hearing any loud noises. It sounded like there was an elephant playing hopscotch up there, which was obnoxious. So, as far as what I intend to do, I foresee myself actually not going straight to Mystery Lake from here, although I do want to go there next as my next major destination. I think I'm going to stay some more time at 5 hours on that fire back there. I'll let it burn some more. I'm going to run back and drop another piece of fuel in there. Anyway, I'm not planning on going directly to Mystery Lake. I do want to stop by at the abandoned tower. I really need the matches that usually spawn there, and because I'm down to 11, and a flare, because I messed that up last episode, I believe, or episode before, whatever. Let's see. So yeah, goal is hang out at the abandoned tower. I'm gonna grab some coal from the nearby mine there, just so that I can extend my total game fuel supply. Eventually it'll respawn, so I'll just use it for the time being while I can, and then I'll make, kind of at an opportune moment, I'll make my way towards Mystery Lake. The other thing I'm hoping I will find is the climbing rope. Now, I don't care if I find one at or not at the abandoned lookout, though I know you sometimes do. The real thing here is I just want to find one, because rather than setting up another snow shelter in the ravine, should have took a torch with me. Rather than setting up another shelter in the ravine, I would really much rather use the lower area in the ravine, because there's a little bed there. Not an actual bed, but like a sleeping little mat of pine branches or whatever that you can sleep in and save the game. So that's where I'm gonna want to stop off. I will check this out up here. I'm gonna head back to the fire though. And I might shoot for another 10 hours of sleep. Even though that's gonna be risky, it will be risky. The fact is, I'm counting a bit on the shelter, the snow shelter I've built, and the heat retention to just preserve me long enough to make another 10 hours sleep worth it. Anyway, in side subject, I've been reading the book The Giver by Lois Lowry for one of my classes for my college courses, and I finished it. I had my blood drawn today, and I finished it while I was getting that done. And it's a great excuse for me not to have to work out and to have time to, make this video, having my blood drawn. So there it is. So here I am, not working out, making this video. But anyway, I read The Giver while doing that, and I was really impressed by the end of the story, how much the protagonist's struggle, his name is Jonas, how much his struggle reflects kind of what we do here in the Long Dark, trying to survive against the elements. And he lives in what appears to be, at least at the beginning of the book, vaguely a utopia, but it's really definitely a dystopia. He leaves it at the very end of the story because I hope it's not a spoiler for anybody. It's been out for years, I'm sorry. Because he knows that he lives in a community that he just can't tolerate living in anymore. And he takes a young boy with him, trying to rescue, essentially an infant, trying to rescue his life. So, alright, that's it. That's all I'm going to search in here. I'm not going to do a crazy search. So he leaves and they're initially searching for him by air, and he's trying to hide from them and not be discovered. And all right, how far am I from the abandoned lookout? Probably not too far from here. So I could try to make a push if I wanted to from here right now. I am not going to do that though. So Jonas makes his, escape, but he ends up trying to survive the winter, escaping from this community, and he's dying. It's pretty clear he's not winning this battle against nature. He doesn't have the skills that he needs. He's trying to take care of a baby. He's 13 years old or something, trying to take care of a baby all by himself. He's not really doing well, and at the end of the book, he has this notion of going, I forget what they call it, but he has this notion of going into I guess my own synonym would be the great beyond. And it's not that he's specifically seeking to die, but he has some vague notion. He knows of, death, of course, and he has some vague notion that there's something else, beyond this life, is at least, or at least beyond what he has experienced in his life, and he's trying to find that and bring this baby to it so that they can survive. And at the very end, he kind of revisits a place that it can't be real. Like it's not a real world place that he's gone to visit. He's, at least my interpretation was that, like, he is dying. And he's essentially visiting a memory that he held dear. And at the end of the book, the very last few, like maybe the last 2 pages or something, like literally just the very end of the book, he finds this, I think it's a memory, and he goes to this experience that takes him really just beyond, anything that he would normally experience. And he starts seeing colors in a way he'd never seen color before, and he'd never heard music before, but he hears music for the first time in his life. And there are people waiting for him on the other side, and it really got me thinking, really this whole game gets me thinking about, like, the theme of death, not to be morbid, but it's a part of our life experience here on Earth. It is part of the human experience. We don't live for forever. We're not immortal in that sense, or at least not, as biological beings. But naturally, it begs the question: well, what actually does come at the end? Do we have other people waiting on the other side? Is there a better place out there for us? And it also begs the question of, like, well, why do we struggle so hard to survive if there is something better out there? And I think part of that question is that there is no guarantee that, any religion or faith, and I am a man of faith, any religion or faith requires that you resort to a belief that this is not founded on your empirical senses. Our 5 empirical senses do not guarantee that it is there. So it's a leap of faith to die, to go to the other side. And I guess my personal take on that whole issue is, first off, I don't think there's anything guaranteed on the other side to be good. I do believe there is a good place to go to on the other side, and I do believe I'll see my loved ones on the other side. But I don't think it's guaranteed to be good. And I do think, to some extent, I think the way we live our life here is going to affect the outcome of what we see over there. But that has to conform to a notion of justice and right and wrong and morality that is above human morality. And the reason I say that is because humans don't all agree. There's so much cultural relativity on what is lawful and unlawful, moral and immoral, ethical and unethical. So we don't all agree on, what goes and what doesn't. So if there is some kind of universal law out there saying this is how it is, this and no other, we haven't figured it out down here. You know what I'm saying? So at best, all our standards of morality, at best might be considered pale reflections of the real thing, whatever that real thing is. So if there is a higher authority, or I'll say a higher morality, it's going to require that there's a higher authority. If morality is a real thing and not just a product of the human imagination, it requires that there is a higher than human authority that designates what that morality and that right and wrong is. So, anyway, I don't know why I'm going in this direction. It's a philosophical thought. I've traveled. It's a stream of consciousness I've traveled down many, many times. But I'm doing it, so whatevs. So if there's a higher authority, if morality is a real thing, if our sense of justice is actually somehow, even if imperfectly so, attached to something more real than just what is the product of our imaginations, then there has to be an authority, and I would consider that to be God, by whatever name you would call him, that designates what that morality is. So, I think it was, I don't know if I have a real point that I'm getting to here, except that I think in my case, it was my own sense of morality and me examining myself as a being and why I had, why do we have a sense of morality and sense of justice, a sense of right and wrong? What is it that separates us from the animals in that way? And as a teenager, I really, I could have gone in any number of directions as a teenager. I could have gone a really bad route. And it was digging into those kinds of questions that really, really, really helped anyway. It was many things that kept me from going the wrong way in my life. I think by any standard, moral in a universal sense, or even just culturally. But, the question of morality and why I was a being that had moral conflict. Why did I? Why was that built into me, so to speak? Or how did that come to be about? You could argue it evolved into me, and I have no problem with that argument, but if I evolved a sense of justice, I'll argue this. If my eyes evolved to see light, to perceive light, they evolved to perceive something that was really there. Namely, a reflection of photons off of a physical surface, or if you like, off of a network of atoms. So, thinking about morality, if I evolved or was built, either way, designed, doesn't matter, to have a sense of morality, would that not be founded upon, or essentially in response to, a real thing? So if it is a real thing, that means there is an authority, and if there is an authority, that authority must have some, obviously, apparently, cares about what's happening down here. So that's kind of the conclusion I gradually, piece by piece, came to. And I don't know if that water's going to last. It doesn't matter. I'm being a philosopher here today. So I shouldn't boil too much more, actually. Is there anything else I can cook here? No. Okay. So, I think morality was a key to deciding that there must be, oddly enough, that there must be some kind of an afterlife, that there must be some kind of a existence beyond this one. I gotta stop my health from dropping because I intend to make a move tomorrow, or after I wake up. I don't know if I'm going to survive this episode, but maybe if I don't, I'll go to that other place. At least my character will. Anyway, it's reading The Giver just got me thinking about that whole dynamic, and really, when I play this game, The Long Dark, I am very much, I think, constantly re-examining that place. So as weird as it is to say, I think The Long Dark's kind of a spiritual experience for me. And that is a weird thing to say. Like, what, a video game is a spiritual experience. But it is, because it gets me thinking along lines of thought that are pretty existentially significant. So, yeah, is there something waiting for us on the other side? I don't know. I believe there is. And I would credit I was raised religiously and such, but I would credit that to be the thing that makes me believe that, except that honestly, there were points, again, in my adolescent years where I was really questioning my faith in a very fundamental way. I was not reconciling my spirituality, or at least what religious dogma taught me. Not really my spirituality, honestly. I was not reconciling what religious dogma taught me with what science talked about. And I honestly started to see a lot more wonder in the universe from the scientific perspective. So I was like, okay, well, is the God I have been told about, is he actually amazing, or is he kind of comparatively like mundane? Did it happen within a 6,000 year period? Or did it happen in a 13.7 billion year period? The act of creation and stuff. Like, which is more amazing? And what's more amazing, that it snap of a finger and there was the Earth and it formed out of the void, or that like the Big Bang happened and then the stars formed, generations of stars formed and died in supernova that created eventually all heavier different types of atoms that would eventually congeal to become what we call planets, and that we as carbon-based life forms coming off of this planet are in fact the product of stars that supernovaed billions of years ago. Like, what's more amazing? So I was wondering, like, I was just like, this God I serve, apparently, he seems like religious dogma is really putting him in a small box. He doesn't seem to fit into the bigger box that science is that science won't allow him to fit into, that science won't make a place for him. So God doesn't fit into the scientific framework that we've constructed for ourselves. And frankly, the wonder started to not fit into the framework of religious dogma. There was something better than any wonder that I had experienced in that framework. And that was from the science. So I was like, okay, so what's the deal? Well, I asked the question, well, does God have to be something amazing? No, there's no rule saying that he has to be something amazing. God could be very boring and banal. Like, who's to say that he has to be something, this great, wondrous thing? But, who really wants to accept that answer? You know what I'm saying? If there is a God, I would expect he is amazing. He has, if he's, not to be irreverent, but if he's worth being called God, he'd kind of have to be amazing, If you're going to worship a being, you don't worship something that is uninteresting and doesn't generate any sense of wonder. You worship something that does generate a sense of wonder. Oops, that's not what I wanted. So anyway, so I started, I asked that question, and eventually it just came down to the point of, are you there or are you not? And I prayed about it. I put this prayer, and it wasn't even the Christian God, the Muslim God, the Hindu gods, the Odinic gods, the Greek gods. It wasn't that. It was just like, whoever is out there, just out there in the great beyond. If you're there, if you're listening, and if you care that I'm speaking to you at all, will you answer me? Will you answer me and tell me that you're there, you're listening, and you care? And without going into personal details, I got an answer. that was very much to the affirmative on all 3 points. And I think, so I'm going to sleep again here for 10 hours. I'm going to definitely drink some tea. Yeah, I need to do that. Okay. So, oh, I have no more tea. Ooh, risky, risky. All right, here we go. Oh, I want to eat one more cattail if that's the case. So yeah, I was like, you know, waiting for this answer, and I got the answer. At least that satisfied me. But I wasn't even... When I first asked the question, I was really self-examining a lot. Like, can I trust myself with any answer I receive that it's not just wishful thinking? Like, I gotta check the fire length here. Although, it's kind of long because it's an outdoor fire. I'm just gonna do it with 8.5 hours there. Here goes. Guess I'll find out if there's something in the great beyond or not. If there's somebody really looking out for me. I believe there is, even if I die. Anyway, I question myself. Like, how can I trust myself that the answer I receive is actually not just my wishful thinking, you know? And I think that's really where it does come down to faith. Like, I think you guys know that I can be a pretty analytical person. If you've been watching my videos, you can probably guess that, like, I don't know, I have some sense of playing the probabilities and an intuitive, maybe, I think I have an intuitive enough sense of probability and reality that I'd probably be able to distinguish between something that was completely wishful thinking and something that was real. I hope that's not self-flattery. Maybe it's egotism. I really wouldn't blame some jaded people out there for saying they think it's egotism. But I believe the answer I received had less to do with me and what I wanted to hear, because I was really ready to give up. I really was genuinely ready to give up on the idea that God existed, that he was there, he was listening, and that he cared. I don't know if this is gonna work. Just blew my torch out. Might have to eat another. And the wind's against me. Alright, here goes. Anyway, I really hope I'm not, like, alienating anybody here with, you know, a boring sermon, because I'm neither trying to be entertaining nor alienating in talking about this. I'm just talking. Like, I'm just speaking my thoughts and experiences of reality as I experienced them, because I read the book The Giver and it put me in a philosophical frame of mind. So, I apologize if, you know, I don't intend for all of my episodes here to become sermons on life and stuff, so I'll probably just, I think I've said enough, and I don't know that I really want to, just for the sake of you guys who probably aren't on the same wavelength I'm on. Oh, you know what? I left that deer back there. Too late now. Moving on. But for you guys who just aren't on the same wavelength as me, that's okay. I hope, if everything I believe is true, I hope you find the same wavelength as me. I mean, I wish goodwill on anybody. You know, if what I believe is true, and if there's a good outcome within the framework of beliefs that I have, I think it's pretty natural that any decent human being would wish that upon anyone else. So, in that sense, I hope that you might find what I believe. I'm listening for a wolf. No wolf, I don't think. But yeah, beyond that, I mean, sorry, I don't want to go giving oodles of sermons here to a bunch of guys who, you know, for whatever reasons, don't believe or don't care to believe. Life is an interesting thing. because it's so varied. The human experience is so varied. We are all experiencing, I think, we all exist in the same universe. We all exist in the same laws of physics, if you and me are standing next to each other, we are negotiating the same geography. If we're in the same place at the same time in reality, we are most definitely experiencing negotiating with the same general experiences. How we approach those experiences, though, will be different. And I think it's simultaneously something terrible and wonderful. It's terrible if there really is truth. If truth is a real thing. Not, and I don't even mean fact. I'll draw a distinction between fact and truth. Because I don't think it necessarily follows that discrete facts speak to a more abstract truth about reality. So, I only can explain this from the framework I'm familiar with. I had a really hard time accepting the possibility for a long time that I had mentioned before, I had trouble negotiating my faith with science. I look at science as being factual. I don't look at science as being a truth, in the sense that it speaks to the more meaningful things of reality. Just because I am the guts of a dead star, that does not really define who I am. Now, if I am a spiritual being that's going to live for eternity, and that isn't going to live on planet Earth, obviously I'm not going to live on planet Earth forever, but I mean that's not the limit of my experience. Well, now that's a relevant truth. That says something about what my life experience is or could be now and in the future. So, weather's getting really bad outside. Okay, not finding any clothing. Finding anything here. Okay. I don't want to spend too long. Whoops, search cooler. Yeah. Nothing. You get nothing. So anyway, yeah, fact and truth. Facts are... I consider it a fact that the universe is 13.7 billion years old. That's an example of a fact. I don't consider that to be a truth, in the sense that it doesn't speak to some greater aspect of reality. So, what was my whole point? I kind of lost my original point, but it's okay. You guys probably don't want to hear my philosophizing anyway. I tell you, though, I am a fairly philosophical person. This is the reason I write books, is because I have these thoughts, and I'm like, man, what do I do with this kind of a thought? Beyond just applying it to my life, which is good, of course, to do, to pick your place in the universe and in reality and whatever. It's very, truth is very important in how you interface with the reality. So, if there is no morality, this is an example, if there is no morality, it doesn't matter. If there's no authority behind the notions of reality, of morality that we as humans have created, then technically anybody can do what they want, provided they can get away with it. And there's really no reason not to, assuming you can get away with it. So we could all be little sociopaths running around. Well, you might argue society wouldn't survive like that. Well, okay, my retort to that would be, what rule says society needs to survive? What rule dictates that? There is none. There's no rule that says society has to survive. So you're right. But just because we are accustomed to the experience of society and all of its comforts and such, this is the way to go, all of its comforts and such, that does not mean that it is a necessity in any cosmological way. Society is a fact of the here and now. Society, I mean, and given the fact that everybody's society is different, it is not a universal fact or truth. So there's no reason society should succeed. Society should work. So there's no reason we should all necessarily agree on moral issues, on laws, on ethics. There is no real, unless that there is a higher authority that says, this is the standard, follow it. This is what you should be working towards, pursue it. Unless there's that, it's all, I think, and this is just my interpretation, but it's all kind of nihilism. Like, nothing matters. At least in a moral sense. Like, yeah, personal experience could matter, but personal experience is only as important as you consider your own personal experience to be, and as anybody else decides to invest in your personal experience. I probably sound high right now. I swear I'm not high. Nice. I'm just a philosophical person, and I don't know. Lately, I've just been thinking a little more spiritually, I guess, or, you know, philosophically. So I apologize if if I'm throwing you guys off with this. I know I'm usually strategizing and stuff. The two things I will say that I did different today is that, one, I had blood taken out of me, so it could be that there's some difficulty with oxygen getting to my brain, and two, I had caffeine, to which I'm extremely sensitive. I had caffeine this morning, so I could be, you know, just like responding to caffeine. Anyway, yeah, so back to relevant matters at hand. I am trying to get to the abandoned lookout before I die, because my health is getting alarmingly low. And I think the first thing I'm going to do once I get there is crash and sleep. And then after that, I'm going to go get some... I'm going to pass up the mine for now and go straight for the abandoned lookout. But I'll come after I've recovered a bit and I can safely do it. I will make for the mine. I just wish I wasn't like... Oh my gosh, I'm so slow right now. You know? Maybe I need to get in the... I'm like uphill with the wind against me. Reality is against me, guys. It's just against me right now. Oh, I am carrying 80 pounds of something. That would be why. Here I am, contemplating the universe as I trudge my It's not a wolf. I thought that was a wolf for a sec. As I trudge my lonely trudge through the snow. I definitely need to be focused here. I might even have to drop some stuff, but I did pick up those branches. It's not going to be too far. I just got to keep going. I'll be close to dying by the time I get there, though. No doubt, in my mind. It's going to be a close one. I don't think this is it. There's one kind of deceptive spot that looks like it could be it when you're coming from the way of the direction of the mine. There's one spot that looks like it could be it. And I don't think this is it. I think it's the next kind of opening on the right over here. But I am keeping my eye out just in case I'm wrong. You notice. Okay. I think that's it right there. Don't think I can... Yeah, I just saw it. Okay. So I am gonna make it. I am gonna make it. I'm not gonna die. I won't give up. I would love to see the great beyond, but that's inevitable, so I'd rather just keep myself here while I can. I'll find out about that. It's inevitable that I will find out about the great beyond. One way or another. Why not make the most of what I got here in the temporary time that I have on Earth while I'm alive? Look at that. That looks like a blizzard, man. Whew. My health is at like... I'm going to be fading by the time I get up there. I got a storm coming in. See, there's someone, and he's there, he's listening, and he cares. And it's not the game, because the game don't care. I'm the interloper. The game does not care if I live or die. I am the most irrelevant... I would say it hates me, but I'm probably just the most irrelevant thing to it. Of course, I'm personifying the game now. But, you know. The game doesn't care at all. It just doesn't give. There are words that I could say, but I'm keeping this G-rated, just in case little kitties come along. Alright, I made it, and I see matches there, so here we go. Light the match. Let's do this thing. Got a fire to start. I don't have any... Yeah, okay, let's just do it. Just do it! That was not a reference to anything, anywhere. It's not a tagline. Just disregard what I just said. How about just get it done? Make it happen. That's one I heard in the Marines a lot. Make it happen. I don't care how you do it. Make it happen. I'm going to throw all my coals on there because I'm going to grab a whole bunch more. I am so glad to see... I think that's my third box of matches this entire game. So I used one, and I cut into this other one, which there's actually 9 of them. I'm pretty sure that's my third box of matches this whole game. I'm telling you, man. Loon's Loon. Oh, good. The mountaineering rope, too. I needed that. Loon's Loon, you are the match king. No doubt about it. You still have that title, my friend. I gotta eat. Alright. You know what? I do want to get these out of the way. I hope I don't regret this. Oh, good. Oh, look at that. See, Loon's Loon, you don't get hypothermia because you play so carefully. But I take a lot of risks, man. Man, I'm cutting some corners close here, you know? Alright, let's see. I'm gonna get some water boiling, because I only got one thing to cook water here. So I might as well. And I really don't know if I want to stay awake that much longer. I want to break this down. Requires a hatchet anyway. Yeah, I'll break that down. Need to have my stockpile set up, no doubt. I'll be depending a lot on that for the next couple of days anyway. Okay, these are green, so I will drop those. I'm just going to drop all of these too, though, because, heck. And these, slowing me down. And these, just slowing me down. Got a lot of torches, though. I should probably... That's where all my weight came from. Duh. I grabbed like 1,000,000 of them. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop all these good ones. I'll use up my not so great ones. I will... I want to harvest this. 15 minutes, I'll do that. And after that, I gotta crash. I've got to crash and sleep because... dying. Okay. 151, that's 500, that's 550, 650, yeah, I'll do that. And then I'll eat like half a cattail. Glad to still be here. Whew. Start some more water immediately. I don't think I'm going to go out today. I think today is just going to be a low activity, stay around the base camp, recover a bit type of day. I'm just thinking about stuff I could do. Oh yeah, I won't need that. And that. I don't need that either. Probably not going to need it, but just in case I come across a wolf, this is that 1,000,001 chance. I wonder, do rabbits spawn around here? Because that would be great if they do. Alright, so if I'm not going to eat a lot of food, I'm going to have to do some running around. So that my energy goes down and I fall asleep faster. It is a great thing. Because of that heat extension range, I don't know, I think vertically up and down, that heat extension is pretty much infinite. So I can go all the way to the bottom of this thing. You know what? I don't know if there's anything down there, but why don't I just give it a shot? That's going to drain... Well, I'm going to have to edit that out. That's going to drain the heck out of my energy, so I might as well give that a shot. Especially if I can do it without freezing. Alright, how much longer do I have? 4 hours in this? Alright, I'm going to dump... Yeah. Drop a lot of this here. Drop all of it there. And I'm going to have to drop a lot more. What else can I drop? I don't need all these teas. Might as well just have some boiling over here. Just because. Am I wrong? Good to have them handy, right? Although it makes so little difference. I think at this point in the game, like I'm kind of at the point where it doesn't make as much difference. Because... like Loonsloon was saying in one of his episodes, it just drains so fast. Your warmth, it just drains so fast. Kind of just doesn't matter. Wow, I got 42 feathers. I'm doing all right. The one place I would say where it really does matter is if I'm gonna go into the mine, I'm gonna definitely want to have some there, because the mine seems a little bugged or whatever the heck it is. And, ooh, shoot. Oh, that's too bad. Alright, just gotta do it. Okay. Took a little hit to my health there. The other thing is, I really do like having all the teas as a supplement to my diet. That way I'm not just going through all my food stuff, you know, really just too fast. Okay. Warm up here, and... I don't remember if that's the name of it, but I know what I'm saying when I say Rabbit Grove. Alright, here we go. I don't think it goes all the way down to the bottom. I think there's a stop. I should have checked before I started climbing. Yeah, there is. Okay, so is there anything here is the real question. There's some sticks. Yay. Might as well grab them while I can. I know that goes down to those houses below, the 2 burned ones and the 2 not, where I got my books earlier on the run that I felt was not really worth it in the end, but okay, dead body here, and a backpack and some feathers. Feeling like this is already worth it. So, not seeing it. Yeah, just a stick. Okay, and more feathers. Okay, nothing there. That's too bad. I don't see anything by his hands or beside him, but. Okay, I'll take the cedar, I'll take the other stuff. It's a couple hours of life right there with the fire, you know, keeping that life ember burning. Ah, yes. The game. Either it doesn't care about me, or it wants to steal the life ember from under me as I sleep. I don't know which one it is. Phew. Good call. Just made it. That means I'm not going to be taking too much damage from food. Lack of food, rather. Which is good. Probably only been awake for a couple of hours if you think about it. Like by the time I go to bed, maybe only 5 hours or something. I'm not even sure. But it's better. The sooner I drain my energy, the sooner I can do my big rest. Okay, so I didn't need the tea. So I'll just drop that again. Probably drink that before bed. Alright, so I'm gonna warm up. Yeah, just drop the other 2 in there. There we go. Alright, and I got another log. Cedar, which is at least 2 hours. Take these. Oh, I'm really glad to be here and alive. I like being alive. You know, being alive is good. It's a good thing. Being dead is not good. Choose life, not death. Sometimes in Stalker, or custom game mode, if you allow the rifle, you'll find bullets under this chair. I think I may have once found, like, candy bars, granola bars, something like that under there. I don't really recall, though. Alright, time to go. I'll warm up by the time I get to the bottom. You know, I would not leave that open in real life, so I'm not going to do it in the game. I'm going to have to grab that, Oh, shoot. Man. Another blizzard. Alright. Oops, there we go. It's in here. It's 11 pounds off my back. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna just store a lot of my water here. Because I know that. Yeah, I know I'm going to want to be as light as possible when I go out and do this. So let me do this with the time I have left before I got to go to sleep. Start preparing. End this episode fairly soon. Okay, so I think after I sleep, it's the mine. That's how this is gonna go. And maybe that's where I'll end the episode. I don't know how much longer. I didn't start the timer this episode. I was just too excited to get recorded and get playing, you know. So, there it is. Just absent-minded me. Really excited to be playing again, though, given... actually, I won't do that because of my keys. I'm really excited to be playing again, though. Alright, I'm going to do one more thing before I go to bed, and it does involve going out into the blizzard, but I'm not going far. I'm just doing a quick run for sticks and what have you, and then it'll be lights out. Either way, if I delay in doing activities that will reduce my energy, hello dear, or if I get a little damage from freezing, either way, I'm going to sustain just a little bit more damage here before the episode is over. So I might as well feel like I did something really productive while I did it. Slowly to death. Okay, that's it. Going back. Alright guys, that's going to be the end of this episode. I think it's going to be a little short. Maybe I'm wrong. But I'll see you for the next one where I go to the mine towards Pleasant Valley, but I'm not going to actually go into Pleasant Valley. After I clear out the mine, I plan on making my way back to Mystery Lake. Alright, see you guys later. Out.